since we've been working together, and I've been doing gigs in French, in France, gigs in Germany, and Spanish in Spain. What have you learned about my approach? Because I know I believe in this sort of...
It's unique. It's unique, Ed.
Okay, and how so? For the people watching, how so?
Well, because basically you want to learn a language without being taught it, which
Yeah.
is kind of unique, really.
Well, but every child learns it that way. I just want to learn it like a child.
Yeah, but you're not a child. I mean, if
I am.
No, you're not. I mean, the thing is, you have a great story about, you know, every child learns their own language. I mean, which they do, but you have to remember that, you know, being, you know, that period 0 to 3 years old is, you know, I mean, if anybody would be prepared to sort of sit in a pram for 3 years and be spoon-fed language as well as everything else that they get spoon-fed at that age, then possibly, you know, you would be able to imbibe the language in the way that a child does. But it's learning a second language as an adult is a very different process. And although there are many systems out there, some of which promise almost to teach you without you doing any work at all, I mean, I don't really buy it. I mean, most of the people I know who can speak another language and have learnt it as a second language have had to put in a considerable amount of effort.
Yeah.
But I mean, your approach is also unique in that most learners of languages, the bit that they find probably most challenging is to actually speak in public.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that you've got to be able to do. So because you do a show in that language, and so it kind of turns the thing on its head, really.
In the last show, Wunderbar, I decided I'd try and improvise and develop the set that way. But that helped with my self-confidence. Maybe not.
Well, I think that was a big step forward, which. But I think you were. I wasn't sure whether you were ready for it. I didn't personally think you were, but I think in retrospect you probably were, and it meant that it was more difficult for you at the start, but I think it freed you up in other ways because it allowed you to improvise a bit rather than sticking to a script. I don't think sticking to your script is something that you do naturally. So, but you started it with French and you did it with German, and I think because you had a certain level of language, you were able to do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think you would have the same success if you tried it in Spanish.
Okay, I'll do it in Spanish then.